The morning sun barely peeked over the horizon when the voice of a mother stirred the silence. Her song was soft but firm, woven with memory and pain. In a corner of Ilupeju village, in a crumbling one-room house with a leaky zinc roof, the firewood had already begun to crackle. Smoke rose into the air like an offering. Malik opened his eyes to the warmth of the flame and the familiar smell of palm oil heating in a pot. He was 10 years old, barefoot, and hungry. But it wasn't just the emptiness in his stomach that woke him, it was his mother's resilience. Mama Rose stood by the fire, one hand on her hip, the other stirring a small pot of pepper soup made from fish bones and water. She looked worn, yet elegant in her faded Ankara wrapper tied tightly around her waist. Their home had no chairs, only 2 wooden stools and a bamboo mat. One window. One door. No fan, no light, just love. Mama Rose worked harder than anyone he knew. She left the house every morning before the village bell rang and returned only when the stars blinked into the sky. She carried a plank on her head to the market, her store. It was the same plank she had used since Malik was a baby. The same one that had carried her shame, her pride, her survival. As they prepared to leave for the market, Malik helped his mother balance the tray of tomatoes, okra, and second-hand shoes on her head. He held a small bag filled with sachets of salt and ground pepper to sell. His mother kissed his forehead. "Let's go, my king. Today will be better than yesterday." They walked a long dirt road together. The sun was already warming the earth. Dust rose with every step. By the time they reached the village market, stalls had come alive with noise, bargaining, singing, gossip. Mama Rose sat up in her usual corner, beneath the old mango tree beside the gutter. It wasn't the best spot, but it was the only one she could claim. Women with bigger umbrellas and more stock took the center. They wore bold collars, gold-plated earrings, and perfume. Mama Rose wore silence and strength. Auntie Busy, the loudest among them, was the queen of the market. Her store was big, colorful, and busy. She sold provisions and cosmetics. Her stall had a plastic chair, a small radio, even an umbrella stand. One afternoon, as Mama Rose arranged her tomatoes, Busy approached with her hands on her hips. "Rose, why are you still sitting on the floor? You've been here how many years now? Oh, try and upgrade now." Laughter rippled through the market women. Mama Rose said nothing. She pressed her lips together and shifted a basket closer to herself. But Malik saw it. The slight tremble in her fingers. The way she swallowed back her pain. He wanted to speak, but Mama Rose looked at him and shook her head gently. Later that night, under the dim light of their kerosene lantern, he asked her why she didn't talk back. "What would it change?" she replied. "They can laugh now. But God is watching." Malik held her hand. "One day, I will build you a shop. Not just any shop. A supermarket. You will never sit on the ground again." She looked at him with tired eyes and smiled. "My son, you are my supermarket. As long as you keep dreaming, I already have more than I need." Malik never forgot that moment. At school, he excelled in every subject. But school was a luxury they could barely afford. Sometimes he had to miss class to help his mother sell. Other times, he studied with borrowed books and wrote homework on brown paper torn from old notebooks. But he never stopped dreaming. By the time he was 16, he had taught himself how to repair radios and phones. He started helping traders fix their devices for small change. By 17, he could build simple websites. He read every book he could find. Slept less. Hustled more. He earned a partial scholarship to a polytechnic in Lagos. Mama Rose cried that day. She had no savings, but she sold her headscarf, her extra wrappers, and even her wedding ring to raise transport fare. "Go, Malik. Fly. And don't look back until your wings are too big for this place." Lagos was a different world. Fast, loud, harsh. Malik shared a tiny room with 3 other students. He took on any job he could find, cleaning cyber cafes, printing flyers, teaching basic computer skills to children. He ate noodles almost every day and drank water to kill hunger. But he never stopped. He built an app that allowed market women to record their daily sales in voice notes. Simple. Practical. He tested it by calling Mama Rose. "Mama, just talk into this." She laughed into the phone. "Talk." Like voice message. That laugh became the foundation of his speech. His app gained traction in local markets. NGOs became interested. A small tech company invested. And suddenly, Malik had a team. An office. Clients. Money. But the first thing he bought wasn't a car. It was a new wrapper and a proper mattress for his mother. She called him crying. "I don't even know how to lie down on it. It's too soft." He laughed through his tears. "Lie down and get used to it, Mama. You deserve softness." When Malik returned to Ilupeju 5 years later, no one recognized him at first. His skin glowed. His shoes were polished. He stepped out of a sleek black SUV and adjusted his sunglasses. But he was still Malik. Still the boy who sat beside his mother under the mango tree. Mama Rose ran out of the house barefoot, wrapper flapping, hands shaking. She wrapped him in her arms, sobbing. "My son. You came back. I told you I would. I never forgot." He asked her one thing that day. "Do you trust me? With my life? Then come with me tomorrow." At sunrise, he led her to the market. They stood in the exact spot under the mango tree. Vendors stared. Busy watched from afar, her eyes narrowed. Malik clapped his hands twice. A group of engineers appeared from behind a van. They placed markers on the ground. Men in uniforms began unloading bricks, cement, glass panels. Mama Rose gasped. "What's happening, Malik? This land is mine now, Mama. I bought it. And right here, we are going to build something the world can't ignore." The sign went up 2 weeks later. "Coming soon, Mama Rose Supermarket, from dust to dignity." The market buzzed with whispers. Busy could barely hide her discomfort. Who does he think he is? Just one app and he's building supermarket. But every day, Malik came to inspect the work. And Mama Rose came too, sometimes bringing food for the workers, sometimes just sitting silently, watching her life take shape. The supermarket took 6 months. 6 months of mixing, hammering, wiring, painting. And then it stood. White-tiled. Air-conditioned. Fully stocked. Automated checkout. Security cameras. Code rooms. Shopping carts. Staff in branded uniforms. On opening day, the village wore its finest. A brass band played. Chairs were set under a canopy. The governor sent a representative. Mama Rose wore gold lace with emerald embroidery. Her head tie was layered like a crown. Her smile could light up the night. Malik gave a speech, but everyone waited for Mama Rose. She took the mic slowly. "I was the woman you laughed at. The one who sold tomatoes near the gutter. You mocked my son's school shoes. You mocked my clothes. But here I stand. Not with anger. With gratitude. Because every mockery pushed me closer to this blessing. My son is my miracle." The crowd rose. Even Busy clapped. The supermarket became a hub of the village. Prices were fair. The shelves were always stocked. Malik trained locals to manage operations. He started a mentorship program for girls in tech. Mama Rose came every day, dressed with pride, her glasses perched on her nose as she checked receipts and signed documents. One day, Busy walked in, holding a small basket. She approached quietly. "I need space to supply some things. If you'll let me." Mama Rose looked up, smiled kindly. "There's room for everyone here. I built it on that principle." And she meant it. Malik went on to build more branches in nearby towns, but Ilupeju remained his heart. Every Friday evening, he and Mama Rose sat under the new mango tree they planted by the supermarket. The breeze was softer there. The memories kinder. They laughed at the past, not to mock it, but to honor how far they'd come. And on the wall of the supermarket entrance, etched in gold, was the quote that defined their journey. "They mocked my mother at the market. Now she owns the building." The quote wasn't just a sentence. It was a testimony. Every shopper who passed the entrance read those words, whether they came for rice, oil, or bread. It became a mantra, especially for young girls who had watched their mothers suffer in silence. For widows who sewed in the hot sun to feed 3 children. For boys who once carried firewood instead of pencils. Mama Rose made it her mission to keep the heart of the place beating. She wasn't just a figurehead, she was the soul of the supermarket. And Malik, though busy expanding operations and speaking at tech conferences, always returned to that mango tree. It wasn't long before the supermarket began hiring from within the village. Malik refused to bring in outsiders unless absolutely necessary. He believed in the power of his community, he had seen it firsthand. The cashier was once a shy orphan girl named Kemi who never went to school. Malik enrolled her in evening classes and trained her on digital payment systems. Now she handled the registers with confidence and taught others. The security guards were men who had once wandered the streets jobless, begging for small errands to do. Malik gave them uniforms, dignity, and steady pay. He employed women who once mocked his mother, not out of revenge, but to prove that kindness builds longer bridges than bitterness. They now managed inventory, kept records, stocked shelves, and referred to Mama Rose as Madam with the deepest respect. A small creche was added beside the supermarket for women who had no one to care for their babies while working. Mama Rose personally oversaw its decoration with bright colors, cartoon animals, and soft mats. The supermarket was no longer just a place to buy things. It was the beating heart of Ilupeju. A place of second chances, restoration, and hope. One day, during a routine staff meeting, Malik noticed someone new, someone he hadn't seen before. She stood at the back, holding a notebook, her braids tucked neatly under a patterned scarf. She wasn't speaking, just listening. Her eyes were focused, kind, curious. After the meeting, Malik approached her. "You're new here," he said with a smile. She nodded. "Yes. I'm Ada. I came to help with the women's cooperative you're sponsoring. I run a literacy class at the town hall on weekends." Malik extended his hand. "I'm Malik, son of Mama Rose." Ada smiled. "Everyone knows." Their first conversation lasted 20 minutes. The next one lasted 3 hours. Before long, Malik found himself walking past the supermarket office just to see if she was around. She wasn't flashy or loud. She wasn't trying to impress. She was just real. One Sunday, he invited her to join him and Mama Rose under the mango tree. Mama Rose studied Ada quietly, then gave Malik a knowing glance. When Ada got up to use the restroom, Mama Rose leaned over. "She's calm. Not the kind of woman who rushes to shine. I like her." Malik grinned. "Me too." Weeks passed, then months. Malik and Ada began building something beautiful, not fast, not flashy, just solid and honest. She helped him plan a rural girls' coding camp. He sat in on her adult literacy classes and donated books. Together, they planted more than just programs, they planted trust. On Ada's birthday, Malik surprised her in front of the creche. He stood there, flowers in hand, and said, I don't want to build just supermarkets.